void. I will be talking about nothing today. Nothing is a very important thing. I found another person on internet called Gangaji. It's a lady talking truth that made me realize about few things that happened in my life which were very important. And I think they are so important that I wanted to share it with you. It will be only a few minutes video because it's quite a short topic but important one. So what she was talking about? She was talking about void. Nothing. During my whole life, over all those years that I spent here on earth, I've noticed that I've developed some kind of set of belief systems, or set of prism, like a crystal prisms, that I was looking through to see the world. Any information that was coming to me had to go through these prisms, the set of prisms, and or belief systems that I've developed. And if it was matching this belief system, if I could agree with this information was reaching me, I was agreeing with this, saying that yes, this is true, that's how it works, and I was moving on. If the information didn't manage to pass those filters, I was just rejecting it, refusing it, and forgetting about this. And that's how I was living for many years. Over those years, I've noticed something interesting, that those belief systems, they change. I had to update them many times because they were not matching the reality. I was facing many times situations that I've seen that what I was believing in is not true, or is a little bit different than I was thinking that it is. So I was updating my views, and some of them over the time, they've been updated so many times that they become something completely different. So I realized that if the belief system that I had 20 years ago is different than the one which is now, because of these small updates, there is something wrong here, and one of them is not real. It ended up that none of them were real, obviously. But that gave me something to think, and I realized that I'm living in some kind of dream world, that I'm assuming things that are not true. So when the time was passing by, this Gangaji lady made what she basically said, that to be able to escape from it and to really see things how they are, and to see my own self in real light, without those prisms and without those filters. There has to be time in the life that I need to sit down and realize that these all belief systems are not true, and I need to basically give them up. When this happens, there was a time in my life that I did sit down and I was thinking about this, and I gave up all those belief systems because I knew that they are not true and they are not real. And if I want, I can spend the rest of my life believing in things that are not real and just waste this time. Or I can face the truth and say that I have no absolutely idea who I am, what is happening here, what is happening with this world, and what I am basically. So there was a time that I entered this void, and I realized this, and I realized that practically my whole life is about things that don't make so I remember there was this Gangaji lady was saying that sometimes it flips in in the split of the second, this realization happens. I don't know if it was like that in my case. Maybe it was a long process, maybe not, but I remember something like that. I remember being in empty space. I knew that everything I knew is not really as it is. So I gave up all those beliefs. I gave up religion that I was involved in as well, because over the years I've noticed that there are some of those things that I've been taught they need to be stretched a little bit to fit the purpose. Some things were not really clear, some things were not explained, and I know that if something is following this pattern, there is something behind it. So when I realized that most of the things that I know, I was thinking that I know, are not really how they are, I gave them up. I sat down and I told myself that I know nothing. I have to learn everything from scratch, if there is a way of learning truth. I need to learn it from scratch, because I basically wasted many years of my life thinking that I know who I am and I know what I'm doing, and I realized that it's not really true. I know that everybody who is not awakened yet is in the stage, and if you really think about this, you will have to admit the same thing, because everybody is fighting with the same demons. So I know that if you're not ready for it, you probably will say that's a BS what he is talking about, and switch off this video. But if you are in a little bit different stage, you will think about this. So you need to enter this void as well and admit to yourself that you don't know who you are. I've done the same. I did admit to myself that I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what this whole thing is about. And I know that everything I was thinking, that everything I was all the images of myself and of the world around that I had are not really true, and they don't have too much to do with reality. You can see that over the years as well, if you analyze your life as well. So there was a time that I gave up all those beliefs, and that's when the magic happens. Because when I did it, there was opportunity to feed me with the proper information, because that wasn't possible before. Because anything which was going through those filters was rejected if it didn't comply to what I was thinking that is. So I didn't have a chance to learn anything. But when I gave up all those beliefs, there was a possibility to reach me with some other information. I basically opened my mind to something new. And I know how it works is that if one is able to get to this stage, to admit to self that I don't know anything really, that's where the magic happens, and there will be possibilities, there will be moments, and there will be events in the life which will bring this real information. If I am sensible for it, it will bring this information and I will be able to learn it. And that's what happened with me as well. I met someone who cracked this whole thing open a long time ago and had everything organized, and I was feeding myself with this information for quite a long time. I was reading and learning and listening, and because everything was making sense. It was a little bit different, but to be able to dig into this information, the mind needs to be open, because It's all images and prisms and filters. They need to be dropped before this. You basically need to admit to yourself that you need to replace all the information you have in your head. How world works and how you work and who you are and who I am. I see it from the different perspective now, because I got the feeling that I flipped on the other side because of this time when I opened my mind. So that's basically what this void is about. It's a very weird and empty feeling when I knew that I know nothing. that was very weird, and I felt completely empty inside. I didn't know anything. You can imagine how it is, like a born again. Hey, I was living in the dream world. Okay, it was dream world, but what's the real world? And when you admit to this, the opportunities and the moments in your life will appear that you will be able to learn how it is in real. It is. I know that it's very, very difficult to give up all those belief systems, because that's basically everything I had, isn't it? That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was. That was creating my whole life, isn't it? Give up something like that is not. It's not a very easy thing. But this void needs to be entered. There is a lot of magic happening afterwards, but this video is not about what happens afterwards. This video is about the necessity of going through this difficult process. I put a little bit more information in the description of this video, how to find this person, and maybe if I remember which video it was, I bring it there as well. But that was basically when I learned at some point that when I realized that I can learn from everyone, even from people which are still asleep, or I've got the impression that they're not very aware of themselves, they're not very developed, but I know already that I can learn from everyone. I can learn from every story. So when I realized that I was looking on internet and when I was talking with people, I was paying attention what they talking about, to filter something interesting that I can learn from. That is Gangaji. When I started to listen to her, and I've noticed that she's speaking truth, and she cracked down the whole system as well. Long time ago, I knew that the same thing will happen, that I will pick things up that I don't know, and that's exactly what. When she was starting to talk about this void, I actually, everything I'm talking about, I didn't know. I'm realizing that now. I was going through those processes that she was talking about giving up those old belief systems, and that's what I was talking about. I was going through those processes, but I didn't know that I was going through those processes. I can see it from this perspective I have right now, but I didn't know that before. That's the way I make this video, to show you how it works, because probably you don't know that either. It's very difficult to realize it, to see it, but that's how it works. So entering the void is an important thing. It is scary thing a little bit, but I remember when I realized that most of the things I think I know, I really didn't know. I had a choice. I spent almost 40 years in this whole matrix, and I knew that I have a choice. I can still follow the same path and waste the rest of the time and know that my life is not real, or I can try to give that up and enter this void and try to find something else. And that's what I decided to do. And when this moment happens, you won't be alone. You will get a lot of help. There will be a lot of opportunities that you will pick up and start developing. So look for this void and enter it. One love.